Ever since the rise of ISIS and its long list of terror attacks around the world, many countries have seen clashes between their Muslim and non-Muslim communities. My team has been wondering, how is the situation in Singapore? Are Singaporeans able to talk openly and kindly with each other on these hot-button issues? Together with the Thought Collective and the Harmony Center, we invited strangers to help each other out by talking about this. In this video, they explore the question.
So I'm teaching students to learn more about differences and so on. And so that particular class was on religions. And I just asked, what are the words that you associate with a particular faith? Right? And I said, you know, let's just be honest. I mean, sensitive but honest. And then someone raised up his hand, right, and said, "Sure, can I say, I don't know if I should say this, but can I say suicide bomber?" And then it was that, and then the whole class stunned and looked at me and they started laughing. And it's almost as if it's taboo to talk about it.
So you're saying that we should talk about this openly?
Yeah, precisely. And definitely the rule for education, right? That if you don't talk about something, it ends up festering under the carpet.
Yeah, I agree. And if you look at like the US presidential election right now, one of Donald Trump's, I guess, main contention is that America has been too politically correct. I don't agree with him, definitely, but I'm just saying that the idea of the politically correct and censorship is something that we can talk about.
If people are offended, maybe we should ask why the person was in particular areas offended by that. As long as we don't attack the person, but we just discuss about ideas or ideologies and stuff like that, we can continue to be in a very civil way of talking about these issues.
I don't know how easy it is to talk about such issues without.
I mean, it's not every day you can just go up and say, "Hey, let's talk about your religion," because is it true it supports terrorism? You know, you get
So you think that the Muslims have not been doing enough in a sense?
I mean, no, far from it. I think that many Muslims have been bending over backwards, right, to try to promote harmony.
Actually, I have to say, not many people know that the community that's been putting the most effort into interfaith is actually the Muslim community. And nobody seems to know about that. Right? Since we're talking about 9/11 and ISIS and all that, right? So that there's been a lot of I think that there's been a lot of backlash in different countries, right, against the Muslim community. Like, do you see the rise of Islamophobia in Singapore?
I was telling my Muslim friends that I was coming for this dinner. So I asked them about it, and they didn't feel that they had faced any form of Islamophobia. I thought that was quite surprising, because I mean, I do see hints of that in society, but they don't seem to have experienced it or felt it in any way.
Where do you see those hints?
Well, definitely the call for the Muslim community to stand up against terrorism, that in itself. So telling us to be vigilant, what are you actually telling us to do, right?
No, I agree with you actually. I do agree with you.
Does it mean like, okay, I'm going to walk around more and look out for unattended bags? You know? In the sense that, you know, public service announcements on MRT encourage us to be suspicious. Like, if you see a suspicious looking person, you know, jika anda ternampak, and all that, right? It's like you see all of that, right? And I'm not sure that's always healthy.
I wonder what other faith communities can do. That's. I mean, I don't actually hear much conversation in the Christian community about, okay, so what can we do with this thing? It's as if it's not a thing that we need to do anything about, you know. And that makes me wonder, is that the correct response?
People seem to be a bit more concerned, for example, about the issues afflicting their own community.
But the non-religious, this is interesting. I must say, religion as a whole has a certain good and has a certain bad, perhaps even. Sometimes the religions they amplify the human problems. Okay, and in this particular case, in this particular time, Islam is in the spotlight. But a humanist point of view is that we try to educate the public more and more to use reason, and to also still have a compassion.
So I think these buzzwords, compassion, that's common to all faiths, and Buddhism places a huge emphasis on compassion.
Even with dialogue, there are bound to be differences. There are issues that the different faiths are not going to be able to compromise on. So, will it make a difference?
Talking about issues, I think is important, but doing things together. I mean, I'm just seeing that even with students, right? I mean, the best way to get a bunch of boys to be friends is to have them play a football game. Sometimes, right? And organizing a sports meet, right? Or be it, just getting people to visit a welfare home and so on. I think we need more of that, and these need to be ground-up initiatives rather than state-directed. Because if not, we don't have, or rather, it's a bit disturbing if we develop a culture in which we are dependent on the state, right, sometimes.
Don't you think we already have that culture?
Would you say
I
that?
think yes, we have a kind of state-dependent culture, and I think even the state itself wants its citizens to be more independent of it. And for example, we talk about interfaith transgressions. Every time something happens, report to the police first.
If a terrorist attack actually happened, right, and if, let's say, this terrorist attack was like ISIS influenced, how do you imagine Singapore actually might deal with it?
It's going to be scary.
I think there wouldn't be, say, widespread retaliation or violence like against the supposed community that's at fault. I don't think that would happen in the event of a potential terrorist event.
So you still have high trust in
Yes.
in our society that there is no retaliation.
No, but I would say there would be increased suspicion, and definitely online netizens. I mean, netizens online would
These keyboard warriors.
keyboard warriors. I mean, can you imagine what they'll say on social media?
It's
and
really
what they'll
tiring
post?
enough to read about all these comments.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, you've encountered.
How does it feel reading like some of the comments?
Every time when we turn on the news or there's a shooting, and I was like, oh my God, please not that. And then we found out, oh yes, he was somehow radicalized, or he was a fundamentalist Muslim, or this and that. I mean, it's just tiring, and I think we're at a point there where we just tune up. Because it's just tiring. I mean, why is it on my shoulders? I'm a Muslim, I'm a peace-loving citizen, I'm a human, and I don't kill people, so why are you looking at me? It's not really not my problem, but it's our problem. And nobody seems to think of it that way. Yeah.
How can we imagine sharing responsibility for the issue of self-radicalisation, especially among young people?
The idea of self-radicalization really puts the focus on theology or religion. Whereas I think the cause of such issues are not theological or religious. They may draw from theological or religious motivations, but they're not the root causes of the problem, but really because people are unhappy, and we have to address those unhappiness. And I think everyone can help to do that, is to create a society where some people don't feel like they are on the fringes. It's about being honest and talking about those people who are often left out of society, I think.
If you're curious to meet up with other Muslims and non-Muslims to find out about their perspectives on these issues over dinner, please click the link below and sign up for one of our public dinners.